Hello, YouTube. Well, I've been reading a lot of your guys' feedback about doing voiceovers to my videos and how simple it is to just, well, plug in a mic. So here you guys go for 1,000 subs. Now I expect 1,000 more. So for today's video, we're going to be leveling in Sholazar Basin at the Swindlegrin Dig. For gear, I'm going to be using plus hit items because the mobs here are actually 3 levels higher than me. And I have used this gear in other videos, so it's not the best, but unfortunately this is the best that we can work with. And when it comes to talents, we want to make sure we have the Chillblains to slow so we can kite, as well as Hungering Cold so we can stun the mobs. Now that we got the setup, we can get into the pull. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be running into this base and gathering as many mobs as we possibly can. One thing to note about these mobs is they are all melee, none of them are ranged, so they should group up pretty nicely. And when we have a good clump of them, we're going to go ahead and slow them with our Howling Blast, and then start kiting them backwards. Now there are 2 mobs in front of me in the direction that I want to kite, so I'm just going to go ahead and gather those up as well. And then we'll use the Hungering Cold here to stun them all in place. So we're going to kite this pack away from the base because there are a lot of patrols in the area and we don't want to be adding any additional mobs to this pack as it'll mess up the pull. So behind me there's a beach over here that we're going to want to take this pack of mobs to. Now there are no mobs on this beach, so it's pretty easy to kite around. And what we're going to do here is keep using our bread and butter, which is the Howling Blast and Death and Decay, and we'll keep using those on cooldown, and it'll take about a minute to kill these mobs. Now, if you're feeling kind of risky, you can go in for a blood boil, but you should be careful when doing this because you got to be pretty close range and the mobs could hit you, and if you get dazed, you will die. So because it's beta, I'm just going to eat and get ready for the next pull here instead of looting the mobs. But they do drop some pretty good items. They drop grays, greens, as well as about 30 silver. So once again, we're going to run in, and we're going to try to get as many mobs as we possibly can grouped up here. Now that I have a big enough pack, I go ahead and cast Howling Blast to get a slow on all of them, and I do notice here that I missed one, so I just cast Hungering Cold to get them stunned and get ready to kite backwards to the beach. And once again, we're going to be kiting them back to the beach, just to keep away from the patrols, and we're going to be doing the same thing that we did to the last pack of mobs. Now, if one mob breaks free, it's not that big of a deal. You can just let them hit you until the other mobs catch up, and then once they do, go ahead and cast Howling Blast and continue kiting. Another way is to cast Ice Chains on the target, but just be careful when you're doing that, because the way slows work in the game is it takes the greater of the two. So if you try to cast Howling Blast, the slow from that won't take effect. One thing to note here is with being low level, you do get dazed pretty easily, and I did get kind of lucky right here that I didn't die. But again, just as long as you have plus hit, it is still pretty easy to kite the mobs back, so you shouldn't really run into this problem too often. Well, there you have it. That's about 60,000 experience for 8 minutes of work. So if you keep doing that for about an hour, you should get about 450 to 500,000 experience. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content.